Ladies and gentlemen, in the next few minutes you will be able to get acquainted with Baja, a town of about 40,000 inhabitants which lies at the Danube near the southern border of Hungary. It's 80 kilometers away from either Szeged or Pécs, 100 kilometers from Kecskemét, 160 kilometers from Budapest and 40 kilometers from Zombor, Serbia. Today, the charm of the town comes from its peace, its water life and the variety it offers. The town has a history of long centuries. Its existence can be traced in documents back to 1323. Archaeological findings, however, suggest that a group of people may have lived here as early as the time of the Great Migrations. Living was provided by the waters around, the backwater called Sugovica in particular. The foundation of the town is dated to the 24th of December 1696, when Leopold I bestowed the status of free towns upon the settlement, together with the coat of arms, which features a biblical scene, Adam and Eve with the apple tree and the snake. Several nationalities used to live here in peace. Hungarians, Germans, Serbs and Croats settled down here and shaped the character of the community for years. In the course of its history, the town has always depended on the water. It gained significance through the waterway of the Danube. Transport and commerce made different trades, milling and fishing prosperous industries. Development was hindered by wars and other tragic historical events, and the former county capital has now become a nice, hospitable little town abounding with natural beauty where it's pleasant to live. Let's start our sightseeing walk in the main square called Szent Háromság, the Holy Trinity. This cobblestone-paved square of Mediterranean atmosphere is unique in Central Europe. The square is surrounded by buildings on three sides, while the fourth side is open, allowing a view to the Sugovica and Petőfi Island. Two roads cross the square in diagonals, as if drawing a clover. One of the oldest historical sites of the town is the column of Holy Trinity in the style of late Baroque. Opposite the quay, on the eastern side stands the main building of the square, the town hall, built in 1760 as Antal Grashalkovic's palace. It was given its present Italian-style neo-Renaissance appearance in 1896 at the end of the 19th century. Its outside is matched by its values inside. The gorgeous cast iron staircase, the elegant furniture in the ceremonial hall, the lead glass windows and the recently finished frescoes all contribute to its excellence. Beautiful lines of trees can be seen on the northern and southern sides of the square. The square is given a soft contour by the round tree crowns. On the northern side stands the Fischer Foundation building, built in 1820 in the style of Classicism. Nearer the quay, on the southern side, is the Danube Hotel, the former National Hotel, which still preserves something of the splendor of older times. Streets open to every direction from the square. The streets to the right and left lead to the commercial and business area of the town. The István Tűr Museum stands at the southern corner of the square. The other side of the building opens to Roosevelt Square with Ede Telcsi sculpture of Neptune. The pedestrian area of the downtown is Ötvös Street, reminiscent with its eclectic row of buildings of the old elegance of the town. While the view of the town centre is determined by churches, nice sculptures, ornamented gateways and narrow little streets, the varied character is given by its multi-ethnicity. Each church building reflects the religion it serves. The Baroque Franciscan church, with the full name of the Monastery and Church of St. Anthony of Padua, can be found behind the town hall. It was built between 1728 and 1756, but it was reconstructed in 1928 and 29. It was most frequented by the Bunjevats, a southern Slavic ethnicity. Out of the 3 churches of the Serb population, 2 have remained. The bigger, named after St. Nicholas, was last rebuilt in 1779. It is an ornamented late Baroque building with rich furniture and fittings inside. The smaller, the former Orthodox church is now the chamber concert hall of the music school. The Baroque St. Peter and St. Paul's downtown parish church, built on Antal Grashalkovich's order in 1765, stands in Todt Square. The fresco on the ceiling was painted by Sándor Éber much later, in the 1930s. Memories of the Jews, who once played an important role in the economic life of the town, are preserved by the synagogue. The respectable, classicist building, originally erected in 1845, has recently been rebuilt, and today it houses the public library of the town and has become the scene of major cultural and popular scientific events. The library, which owns 4,350 old and 180,000 other volumes, is the biggest of its kind in Hungary. The town commemorates its famous sons in different ways. A monument has been put up to András Jelki, the globe-trotting tailor, who has become a symbol of the town. It stands at the crossing of the highways which cross the town. Dairy Park, the biggest park in the town, was built as a donation by Frigyes Déri. The Minister of Defense in the Batthyány government, Lázár Mészáros, who had been born in Baja, was finally buried in the chapel of Rókus Cemetery, a site preserving the past of the town. One of the most adventurous figures from Baja is István Türr, Garibaldi's legendary general, who initiated so many well-known enterprises: the Panama Canal, the Corinthus Canal, the Francis Canal. The town had a lookout tower built at the mouth of the Sugovica into the Danube and named it after him. He is the symbol of the community in Baja. From the tower, the visitor can enjoy a magnificent view of the Danube, sometimes so frightful, the distant but picturesque beauty of Kamenz Forest on the opposite side of the river, and seeing the mighty river we can understand the power of nature, its eternity and mutability. Visitors will probably be interested in the ancient and the modern lifestyle and culture of the 300-year-old town. The permanent exhibition of the Türr István Museum tells us about life and customs in and around Baja. The museum itself was founded on the heritage offered by Imre Oltvány in 1937. During the decades, it has accumulated huge archaeological and ethnographic material, besides collections of fine arts and documents. The Éber Memorial House is an interesting cultural spot in the town. Several generations of the Éber family were determining factors in the field of fine arts in Baja. The house presents the paintings of the family members in an environment full of the atmosphere of civic life at the beginning of the 20th century. The Bunjevats house retains memories of Croats who immigrated to this region after the Turkish conquest. classicist Voynich mansion, built in 1830, today Nagy István Gallery, keeps representative works of fine arts in Baja. Particular significance is added to the exhibitions of the gallery by the fact that István Nagy worked in Baja and Gyula Rudnai made a school here. The everyday bustle of life is best seen on the marketplace. Whatever is grown in the fields, greenhouses and farms of the neighboring villages is offered here in colorful confusion. You will be fascinated by the heaps of fruit and vegetable, abundance of flowers, all kinds of poultry, and of course everything is sold here one might possibly need at home. Another source of bustling life is the water. Baja is a water town. The boat, the kayak, the fishing rod and the fish soup were important accessories even for those who are now elderly. Water activities have certainly become faster in our life of fast competition and motorization. Today, we use water skis, motorboats, jet skis, paddle boats and yacht harbors. However, the magnificence of the summer can best be enjoyed on the sandy beach of the Šigovica even today. Young people come together in the hot sun. Boys show the girls their skills and courage. Girls get the boys marvel at their figures and with a glance of their eyes make them perform stunt dives. Sand castles are built and collapse. Young mummies watch their children with pride and worry. The beach is happiness and it is the future. The people in Baja are very strongly attached to the water of the Šigovica. When life takes them far away, they dream about the glistening velvet water, a girl's or boy's face, the music sounding from the restaurants behind, and of course the red fish soup in the stew pot. We aren't totally dependent on weather anymore. The no-wave swimming pool built on Petőfi Island offers good fun or training in winter as well. This is also proved by the results of swimmers from Baja. In the past years, the island has become a real tourist attraction with a variety of things to do. The river cruise starting from here lets you immerse in the beauty and dignity of the Danube and the Šigovica, bathe your soul in the magnificent quiet. Baja is a town of students. Its inhabitants have always found it important that their children should be educated, and so they spent a lot on founding new schools, first with the help of the church, later with the consent of the state, but they were always proud of finding their own resources. Regular education started in 1722, first in elementary and lower secondary schools, and in 1851 an 8-year secondary high school was set up. After the Franciscans and Cistercians, the Béla III secondary grammar school, set up in 1948, became the basis of education in the town. A number of students who later became famous attended this school, such as István Tűr, Kálmán Tóth, Ignác Nagy, Gábor Szarvas, István Csanádi, to mention but the older times. New schools are still founded these days. One of the outstanding examples is the General Cultural Center of Germans in Hungary, where students from all over the country can acquire the language long forgotten by their parents. The schools of the center offer tuition on primary and secondary level up to the age of 18. The institution also serves as an in-service training center for adults. In Baja, several regular traditional programs await the visitor. The event that attracts the largest number of people towards the end of spring is related to a tradition in one of the districts of the town. The inhabitants of Szent János, Saint John, commemorate the secrecy and martyrdom of Saint John of Nepomuk, the patron saint of watermillers and fishermen, by the floating of Johnny. The religious ceremony is started in the small chapel, and then a sculpture of Saint John is carried in procession onto a ship waiting on the Szugowica. The Christians, fishermen and canoeists then follow the relic in all their boats decorated with lanterns as far as the bridge to Petőfi Island. According to the legend, Saint John, rather than give away his lady, chose to jump into the water. So, the sculpture is set afloat here, and it is let to float down the Szugowica. This custom is called the floating of Johnny. Those from Szent János are then treated by those from the downtown. The mayor taps a barrel of wine, and the street festival starts not to be finished until the early hours of the following morning. On this day, visitors to the island can choose from dozens of events. Another major event, also taken on into the Guinness Book of Records, became a tradition in the town 4 years ago. Since then, the first record has been beaten every year. The event is the festival that takes place yearly on the second Saturday of July to celebrate fish soup in the main square of the capital of fish soup. The first time it was organized, it was to celebrate the 300th anniversary of Baja with 300 pots of fish soup. The number of stew pots on fire turned out to be 450. This number increased year after year, and in 1999, over 1,350 cooking spots were put up by the organizers, not only in the main square, but also in the neighboring streets. This summer, nearly 15,000 people were eating their own fish soup in public in the main square or on the street, and as many were witnessing the great event. 8 tons of fish was prepared with 800 kilograms of onions, 350 kilograms of red pepper, and 9,000 liters of water during the festival. The amounts grow every year, and the event has become so popular that one must fight for cooking spots. The Danube Folklore Festival, organized every 4 years in the middle of the summer, in July, is a large-scale event too. Participants arrive from all over Europe, and the groups and craftsmen present traditional, authentic culture through folk music, folk dance and handicraft. Baja has several folk ensembles, which earn this small town worldwide reputation. The Gemenc Folk Dance Ensemble has brought the beauty of Hungarian folk dance to numerous European countries. The Čitavnica dance group, founded by the southern Slavs of the region, preserves and presents the traditions of their own people all over the world. The Bácska Banda folk music ensemble plays Hungarian folk music. The Csabar group specializes in tambura music. And the folk core Hungarian folk music group needs only 2 musicians to fascinate their audience. Lira flute ensemble, Arliditum and the Gregorian choir perform classical music with no less success. They all have compelled their audience's admiration on numerous performances home and abroad. The end of July or the beginning of August is the time of the traditional Budapest-Baja International Regatta. With its 175-kilometer long, challenging distance, it is the longest event of its kind in Europe, which brings back several foreign sportsmen to the town every year. With this film, we would like you to get acquainted with our town Baja. It wouldn't, however, give full picture without showing the goings-on that await the visitor in the nearby villages. The wine festival on Orbán's Day is a tradition in Hajós and Nemesnádudvar. On this day, people taste wines and watch different shows on the streets of wine cellars. Why not take a walk along the streets and see the cellar village, and then taste the local fine wines with a supper of cold dishes? Making fish soup is a tradition in the region, not only in Baja. In Nagybaracska, contests are held every August, in which the winner of all times is József Farkas, or Mr. Sobri as he is called. The former contestant now judges others cooking in the jury. The standard is the unsurpassable Sobri fish soup, and the winner's prize is certainly a Sobri cup. Not only Baja, but the environs of the town as well have excellent fishing, horse riding and hunting facilities. In the hunting clubs, guest hunters are received too. Groups of visitors wanting to spend a longer period in romantic countryside will find the tourist hostel in Ósikösd, near the Danube and just 16 kilometers away from Baja, a pleasant place to stay. The environs offer good walks, canoeing, horse riding, football, swimming and fishing on the Danube or on the Sárköz Canal. The Isle of Veránka is a suitable destination for a one-day outing or for a longer stay. It offers the natural beauty of Gemenc forest and river cruises on the backwater around the isle. Visitors can spend pleasant hours on a journey on the narrow track railway in Gemenc forest. The train runs along a 30-kilometer-long line of beautiful scenery, and there's a good chance of glancing deer or wild boars. If we get off the train at Bárányfok, a short walk takes us through the study path, and a little further we reach the Gemenc Tourist Center. If our film has aroused your interest in spending a few days or your holidays in Baja, we also recommend our illustrated publications with up-to-date information on programs and events, important telephone numbers, and a guide for those who haven't seen this film. After this short time together, we look forward to seeing you again in Baja.